Hey everybody, my name is Nick Germain. I am a voice actor and singer. I thought it'd be cool today to take a look at a manga series from 2009 through 2013 called Voiceover Seiyu Academy by Maki Minami. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one thing I thought was really cool about this series was that Maki Minami actually researched voice acting prior to writing the series. Which, as a voice actor, I give her mad props for actually doing her industry research. It's really cool. Okay, so who is our main protagonist in this story? Well, we have Hime Kino, age 15 and a student at Hawley Academy, which is a prestigious voice acting school, like the best school for voice acting. Hime is a real spunky go-getter. She's all like, yeah, I can do it and we can do it, and she's always cheering on her friends. The problem is that she doesn't have any acting experience, and she's not very good at singing, and she fails multiple times at the singing exercises, the tongue twister exercises. She struggles a lot because she's just not very good. Hime's dream is to be in an anime, I believe it's a magical girl anime, called Lovely Blazers. Hime's idol is Sakura Oyama, who is one of the lead VAs on Lovely Blazers. But she gets mocked for having a gruff voice. Often you hear a lot of incidental NPCs call her voice an old man voice. It's a running gag that gets kind of old throughout the series. They're always making fun of her voice, and they eventually give her the nickname Gorilla Princess. What a name, right? Gorilla Princess. And this is said a lot. Every time she comes in a scene, it's like, hey, Gorilla Princess, what's Gorilla Princess doing here? And it's just this running gag that gets really old, and I'll kind of get into that more later. This is furthered because Hime actually means princess or of higher birth in Japanese. So there's this whole thing where it's like, Akane has such a nice voice, but my name is the one that actually means princess. So they're really emphasizing the fact that Hime has a bad voice, quote unquote. So Voiceover Seiyu Academy is a shoujo, which means it contains romantic themes. Ergo, we have to have a love interest. So who is this love interest? Enter pretty boy jerk Senri Kudo, son, of course, of Hime's idol, Sakura Oyama. Who'd have guessed, right? But the twist is, or I guess not really a twist, depending on if you've seen a lot of these stories, is that he hates his mother and hates her work, and he thinks she's overrated. He's a Mr. Edgy boy, and we'll see Senri a lot. Although he does have this really funny side to him where he really likes cats for some reason and makes baby noises at his cat. It's actually kind of adorable. The other piece is that Senri is shown multiple times actually assisting Hime and helping her out. Sometimes it's reluctantly because he's kind of an edgy, moody boy, but at the same time, he isn't really that bad. He'll actually help her out, and it's pretty endearing, and it's nice they didn't just make him a bully right off the bat. Alright, so now we gotta meet the rest of these characters and see what they're like. So the first characters we're going to meet today who are known as the stragglers. The stragglers are the ones who don't do as well in the class activities, and they're forced to stay behind until they get it. I experienced this a lot in my music program, actually, when I was a music student at MSUM in Moorhead. Basically, if you don't perform well on an exercise or a test or anything like that, you have to stay behind until you get it. The first straggler we meet is Tsukino Todoroki. The reason she gets left behind is she speaks too softly. I just absolutely adore Tsukino. She is just the shy, quiet, sweet little bean. She also has a really surprising love of witchcraft, which is super fun, and she talks about cursing people a lot. She's just a great character, and I can't wait to see what they do with her as the series goes on. We've also got Sho Takayanagi. He's this really short-tempered tough guy who's always trying to fight people. He's like the Kuwabara of this manga. Okay, now we get to possibly the worst character in the series for me. Mitchell Michi Zaizen, or Michi Zaizen. I don't know how you say his name. He used to live in Monaco until he was like 7. He's got a great voice and he's a good actor, but he's like the token perv character. He has this weird figurine fetish where he lifts up the skirts of figurines. He's like the Mineta of this show, and I kinda hate him. Okay, so now I have to go into some stories, so I'm going to have to get into some spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, exit out now. So the main conflict of the story is that Sho, the tough guy, ends up running his mouth, and they get in trouble with a bunch of second years. They get involved in what is called a radio drama battle, where they have to go into a booth of sorts in the broadcast room and act out a radio play, a 10-minute radio play. This play that they chose in question was Snow White. Originally, Michi Zaizen, whatever you want to call him, is supposed to play the prince, but he gets really nervous and ends up sick in the bathroom. So what are they gonna do? Michi Zaizen, he steps out, he's not playing the prince anymore, so who should step in but Hime chooses to step in. You know, the protagonist with the boyish-like voice, because who else to play a prince in the group but the girl with the boyish-like voice. Long story short, the crowd loves it, and they win the radio drama battle. Alright, so enter idol group Aqua. 2 cool idol dudes with attitudes. Mizuki Haruyama and Shuma Kuai. Shuma is this anime director who's got a lot of connections in the industry, and he's also kind of a jerk. So Shuma's best friend is Mizuki Haruyama, our resident glasses boy idol. We don't really get into him too much. He seems really nice in contrast to Shuma, who's kind of an asshole. But he's also a little bit of a flirt. We'll see more of Mizuki, I assume, as the series goes on. I like him so far, though. So both Shuma and Mizuki become important later on, but especially Shuma. Because Shuma offers Hime an anime role of a male host, but Hime turns it down. Because Hime doesn't want to voice boys, and she thinks that she'll get typecast. So later on, Hime changes her mind, and she gets told that the role went to someone else. Shuma says, roles won't wait around for you, which is a really great point. Roles do not wait around for you in the voice acting industry. You have to capitalize on your opportunities when you get them. But Hime, being persistent and stubborn, she says, no, please give me another chance. I know I'm an amateur, but I can do this. So Shuma says, okay, I'll give you a chance to play a mobster. But if you blow it, you will never work for me again. So Hime does blow it. But when she leaves the room, Shuma says he may bring her in for something else later. So I guess he still likes her, but Hime doesn't know that, so I assume we'll get some kind of payoff with that later. That's basically everything that's relevant to the major plot of the first volume. Now I'm going to get into what I liked about the series. First of all, there's a lot of classes at this school. It's awesome. I wish there was a school like this when I was in high school. I would have loved it. There's acting classes, dancing classes, reading classes, voice acting classes, dubbing classes, broadcasting classes, and they still have math and other stuff, so they're still getting like a general education, but they also have this vast voice acting program that they can access, and I think that's so cool. Another like is the radio broadcast battles reminded me a lot of the Food Wars from the anime Food Wars. They were super cool, and I hope we see more of them. There was also some really funny moments, like Hime recording her voice on a tape recorder and hating the sound of her own voice, which is so relatable to voice actors, and I loved it. There was also a really good point that got brought up of not messing with your script too much next to the microphone, or it will get picked up. Hime accidentally rustles with her script too much and gets reprimanded by one of the VAs, which is a really good, actually solid industry tip, so props to Maki for including that there. Okay, so now for the bad stuff. So first of all, they kind of make it seem like the anime industry is really easy to get into. They also have a scene where Shuma threatens to cut Hima, like cut her from the show, if she doesn't nail it within like one take, which I don't feel like is realistic to voice acting at all. There's also instances of teachers giving extra homework for performing bad in the studio, and overemphasis on good voices, and overemphasis on Hime's voice being bad. And in voice acting, it really doesn't matter what you sound like. Speech impediments are a thing and things of that nature, but as long as you have the acting ability, it generally doesn't matter what your voice actually sounds like. So I found that to be a bit concerning. But other than that, I would say VoiceOver Seiyu Academy is a solid representation of the industry. There are some unimportant side stories that come up, but overall I would say it's worth a read. If you are a fan of voice acting or a voice actor yourself, definitely check it out. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you like this kind of stuff, like the video or comment and let me know, and I might make more reviews later. Thank you so much for checking this out, guys. Have a great rest of your day.